name is Sean, the Sci-Fi Commander if you're on TikTok. Mark Sullivan down below me, and the empty chair currently is filling in for Drew. He will be back in a moment. We will be. No, Mark's going to be going over, I guess, to
Astrofest.
Astrofest
at the Orlando Science Center
tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So go see him there. August 3rd, we will be at. Brain just turned off at Sci-Fi BartoCon, put on by the same group that puts on Sci-Fi Barto. Prehistoricon, Sorting Hat, Wizarding event, and a few other cons. And they're going to be a cool thing. And I believe starting in November, there's going to be an international galactic flea market. So a sci-fi themed flea market starting up as well. So cool things to look forward to. One of the things that we will be doing in Sci-Fi Barto is we're going to be the representatives of humanities101.org, which is a nonprofit 501(c) foundation for autism awareness, and basically trying not to mess with some states. You can't say diversity in it. There's certain keywords that make people go, but it's basically trying to include people with different parts of the spectrum in a work environment or business. Sometimes that can be done as little as giving away free earplugs. If you know your company is loud and you want more customers, and you want customers that might be on the spectrum, because a lot of the loud companies create stuff that people with an engineering mind really get into. And guess who a lot of the best engineers in the world are? Autistic people. Mm-hmm. So if you spend $20 on earplugs that are just the foam thing, and set them on a jar and put on there, free, take one if you need it. We know we're loud. Guess what that's going to do? That one autistic person that comes in there and sees that accommodation, even if they don't need it, they're going to tell their friends and go, hey, I found a cool company that actually cares for us. That's part of the reason why all Walmarts have LED lights now, is because the humming of the fluorescent lights, while they're sometimes cheaper, they do cost more to run, and it costs heat, but they also, that flickering and sound, people like me can hear it. And when the bulbs start going out, yeah, they get loud. So Walmart actually started doing sensory hours. I think it's like 2 or 3 times a week where they lower the lighting. They don't play music. It's actually a quiet time. You might get a couple announcements throughout that time, but it's made so that people with hearing issues with sound, where they walk into the place and the loud the normal music is super loud and can cripple them. That's what those are doing. And that's one thing I can say for Walmart that is amazing. They actually went, hey, let's accommodate this throughout the US. Let's give a time period, and they publish when it would happen. So instead of just going, hey, you're screwed, you're on your own, bring your own shit, they went, no, let me actually give some type of accommodation. So like I said, that's pretty amazing to me. We will be giving away fidget spinners. I got some, we showed it last time. I got some zipper bracelets for people. Humanities 101 has sent us stuff to give away. We've got stickers for nonverbal communication, and our amazing printer, Stacy's Printing in Winter Haven, donated 5 posters of the Humanities 101 poster and 4 of the nonverbal communication poster. So we asked Humanities 101 to send us the PDF for the sticker so we can make it a little bit bigger, and it's actually a poster size. So we're going to be able to put one of those at the booth and possibly other places, so that if somebody has communication problems, one of the vendors would walk over to that and ask questions, and they could point. And that way it allows for more communication. And again, last year we had an autistic kid come into the panel room, and him and his parents immediately backed away because it was too loud and too crowded. If we had had the earplugs last year, we probably would have been able to go, hey, here you go. This might help you a little bit so you can enjoy this a little bit more. But the only reason why I knew why they left was I saw he had a NASA shirt. I immediately grabbed a bunch of our giveaway stickers and ran and found them on the other side of the con, because I wanted that kid to have something from the con that was related to his shirt, and we had NASA stickers. So that is one of the things. Hey, look, Drew's chair is now Drew. And Drew, there you go. This is the poster, and give me a moment, Drew, because I'm going to
non-speaking communication.
Yep, hold on. I want to blow you up because I want. Can you? I'm going to take a picture of it to show how big.
Whoops.
Turn it to the side because it's off screen. Oh, there you go. And can you show the other one real quick? I just want to take a picture because I'm going to post.
Went the wrong way. My bad.
So up a little bit. Okay. Now I can post these on the Humanities 101 to show them that they turned out and let them know that the printing company actually supported, that they actually paid for it. That is awesome. Oh, wait a minute. Cool. Because I'm going to let them know, because guess what? We have representation throughout the whole U.S. If I'm not mistaken, the person that actually runs the foundation is in Illinois.
Yes, I believe so.
I know he visits Ohio, but he's right outside of Ohio. But he's a professor for a college and been teaching Humanities 101. Cool thing is the reason why he named it Humanities 101 is no matter what he's doing, he's always working in this field of study for college. He's always working on Humanities 101. But so he teaches these classes in the college too. So we talked about Mark's going to be at
oh yes, Astrofest.
Thank you.
That's at the Orlando Science Center tomorrow.
And we talked about BartoCon. Drew's going to be tomorrow swimming
With Special Olympics.
with Special Olympics.
See, I'm not just a fan, I'm a volunteer.
Yeah.
But if the coach asked me to be an assistant coach this year, I think I'm going to pass.
You don't want to go swimming again?
Actually, I had no problem with the swimming. It's just that I got so much to do when I get home.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a push most of the day.
So, Drew,
Sure.
there's something cool that you are putting together right now that I believe is right next to you. It has something to do with sci-fi.
It has something to do with Klingons.
Anything else? So will this be ready for BartoCon?
Yes.
So one of the things that me and Drew were discussing was asking the photographer, which I think his name is Chris.
As a matter of fact, there may be two of them ready for BartoCon.
Cool.
Along with a whole bunch of disruptors, some agonizers.
I don't remember his name, and I'd have to find it. But what we plan on doing is asking him if he would like our MSD setup in his photography area to use as props. And we're going to actually, we have, what, 2 Type 3 phasers, we have a communicator, we have multiple rifles, including the ones that Drew has. And we're going to offer him, if he wants to have that as part of his thing, so that anybody from the con can actually use the props in the pictures. So that's one of the things we're going to offer him. If he says no, it'll be in our booth. You can take pictures with it that way.
And then I'm going to make a couple of full-size Starfleet first aid kits that we should have by Syfy Barto that will actually have equipment in them, as well as the prop medical tricorder. Oh, what did I forget to bring? I know I forgot something. The Star Trek Adventures token and dice tricorder.
The tricorder that I made a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he's off to.
I think he's going to get it.
Rector Gino. Don't leave home without it. Are you guys going to need the chair for BartoCon?
We won't have room.
Okay, that's fine. Unless
We're going to be up front in that little room that they had the community service area. That's where we're going to be.
Okay, that's great.
You made another one?
This is held by magnets to put your tokens.
Oh, that one's different. Okay, that's a different one than the one I made then.
Yes.
That's cool. So we'll have 2 different versions of it.
Don't let Michelle see that. She's going to want one.
$50.
We'll have a few extras.
$50. Okay.
No, it ain't going
Hey, I just said a price out loud. I didn't mean
I know, man. I know.
But we do have the warp core dice thing that we take. And we got now 2 different versions of the dice holder. for Star Trek Adventures. So, brains going, phew. Have we watched any new episodes of anything?
Not really, because, well, I did see a couple episodes of The Ark on Syfy. By the way, that's Dean Devlin's baby. I think you know something else he was involved in for over 10 years. Something called Stargate.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not a bad show. Let's just say that thing that's on the Disney Channel is supposedly Star Wars. No. I understand people are absolutely running away in droves from that thing.
What, the Acolyte?
Yeah.
It wasn't bad.
Oh,
That's cool.
That's nice. You got your tokens in the front and you got the dice and that is so cool, man.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Does the bottom hold on better than the other version?
Much. The trial set, this set, is at 18% infill. We're going to have to kick it up to at least 50 because we need to stabilize the hinge.
Right.
But other than that, they're going to work fine. And if they work, if they go over very well, we have a place that will sell them for us.
Oh.
Already arranged. And we'll sell tokens that we have resin casted.
Cool.
Very good.
We will be splitting it, funds, but for the most part, they'll be to help everybody keep things going with all the projects we work with.
Yeah.
So we're ready.
Have we heard anything from our friend across the pond?
He said he was busy at the time that the show was going.
Oh, that's a pity.
They keep scheduling Star Trek Marines tonight.
Yeah. Poor timing.
We've been doing the shows on the same nights for a couple of years, and now they're starting to do their Marine meetings at this time.
Well, that's special.
But I watched all of Prodigy. I watched all of Discovery. I watched all of Doctor Who, the new season.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
Nope.
Yeah, hurry up.
I need a vacation. I'm going to move into Mark's room and he can come here.
Well, I could throw a pad on the floor.
Works with me.
I'm just saying, you do have a TV in the in your. It's converted from the studio to the workshop. You could.
We've lost our dining room, our living room, the office, half the craft room, plus the bar, plus.
Wow.
And I'm going to need some help soon. Building this.
Uh-oh.
Out of styrofoam and resin will be
computer arch.
Well, it'll be something we can bring as literally a set.
Yeah.
We're
gonna have to. Are we gonna have somebody cosplaying as Moriarty?
We're gonna have basically doors in the back made out of corrugated PVC. So we can say computer arts, and it'll be.
Nice.
I think it's a really nice thing to use,
Yeah, that looks great.
and it'll come apart.
That's even better.
And if the first one works well, we're going to add to it and see if we can modify it and make a event tent out of it.
Well, you would need to make, well, I guess a tent. It could go on the side of the tent.
Well, you know, if we do that, I'm actually going to add to the PVC and put little vents in it and set up some 12-inch computer fans and have them forcing air off of a swamp cooler.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That way, for the folks like me that can't handle heat at all, we'll have a safe space to run to.
Hey, I'm just going to say, why is it that at Syfy Bartow, as hot as it always is, you're kind of okay when you're sitting at the tent. But underneath the shade at the college, it kicked your ass.
Well, that wasn't the only time that he kicked my butt. You weren't there the last time we were at Neutral Zone.
Yeah, I know.
And God knows I love Tina to death, even though she forgets. She came out and hoisted my fat cookies off the ground and put me back in the car.
I just
Got it running so that she could turn the AC on before I died. I boarded on a.
I need the video of Superwoman.
Yeah, I know, right? I told her. I said, do you know if anyone filmed that? Because she said, I don't even remember doing it. I said, well, you saved this old man's keister. As far as I'm concerned, I want to get the video of Superwoman. Yeah, we got to pick on each other.
At Syfy Bartow, there will be a gaming room open. I know that they're going to be giving away some dice. So, while supplies last, they said.
We're going to have some really cute gimmies.
Drew, I have a question.
Yes.
Is anyone going to be bringing any of the medals everybody's been working on?
We will have a sheet of them, and to the best of my knowledge, some may be given out.
Okay. I meant at the Science Center.
Oh, at the Science Center? Oh, no.
If not, don't worry about it.
I've got pieces all over the place, my brother. I wish. But
don't worry about it.
We have so much going on at this point.
I know. Oh, by the way, thank you for sending that picture of Ray in my cosplay.
Yes.
I set him up with that, and he was fascinated by the Star Trek Celebrations book I had. So he looks like a proper Klingon in that thing. No kidding.
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
Wait. Picture.
Oh, wait a minute. Sean hasn't seen the picture.
I'm getting it. I know he hasn't.
Oh, yeah. There he is.
That's Ray?
That's Ray in my costume.
Okay, who did his makeup? Because he isn't that dark.
Well, they might have had that guy that was there before that made us up.
No, Tina did it.
Oh, she did a great job.
I know. Yeah. I told her that.
I just hope they remember to return the props and everything with it.
They've got it all together.
Oh, great.
We're all really working hard. We're trying to get everything done.
Yeah.
For Syfy Bartow, which is going to be the villains, is the theme in February. We are making these with a magnetic holster.
Nice.
I want to see Starfleet come out in all of the mirror universe glory. We will also be providing these.
Oh, yes, that would work perfectly with the TOS outfit.
So I need to make a sash to go with this.
It's a waist belt. Oh, for your you've got a few coming.
Oh, there you go.
The red sash just tied over.
Yeah.
Red'll work. Up to you what you want.
Tired.
I wonder if you remember this.
Avatar.
Yeah.
Talk about overkill. Holy.
Okay, the sci-fi one or the one that the Army and the Marine Corps tried in 81? Oh, sorry, I should shut up.
Well, this is better than the one that somebody tried to ride on with the blades below them.
Yeah.
That wasn't one of the better ideas.
Well, remember the Pan scooter? That was a pain in the ass.
Oy, oy, oy.
Vibrated like you couldn't believe, and it looked like a frying pan with all the ducts on the outside and down. And they said, "Oh well, you won't get trapped in the air." They were lying. It was like riding in a hurricane.
I can imagine. I know about the aluminum mini Jeeps.
I've got the fangs for boots.
Oh, the boot horns. Excellent.
And I'm going to use this to make the strapping to go across the boot and behind it. Mount it to this so that those of us in Starfleet can take it off and walk around with Starfleet uniforms and then put them on and simplify our costumes a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So I saw an interesting video. Let's talk about sci-fi becoming reality.
Okay.
There is a new concept that the B-21 bomber will be part of an air superiority setup where the B-21 flies up and has drones that fulfill the F-22's job.
Well, there'll be little autonomous escorts for it. But as far as replacing the F-22, no.
Not for a long while.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're
come on.
They're getting better with the AI.
Contrary to popular belief,
yeah,
the Humvee went into active service sometime in the very early 80s. The military did not let go of the Jeep until 1990 something.
Yeah.
And that's because, you know what? One man can flip this thing over. 4 men can take it apart in 6 minutes. No.
So,
no.
You know, they took a bunch of the old F-16s and converted them to get the thrust vectoring set up and added the AI system in them. And they've been training with them. And the F-16s have been kicking the F-22's ass.
Yeah, well, you know, what they're forgetting though is the human factor.
Yeah.
Anybody that served, you know, it's like they put all these robots out to support the ground troops. Well,
yeah.
You forget, dudes, we invented all the stuff that you're trying to identify.
Yeah.
So I'm in Amazon box and I'm walking up to you and I'm going to tap you. Well, we're just going to roll around like clowns and walk all the way up to you, armed to the teeth, and you're not going to get it. And then we're going to tap you.
Yeah.
All the people are going, oh, Jesus Christ, these people are insane. It's like, do you understand the environment we live in? There is no sanity in here. None.
It didn't compute. And so they were able to basically take it out.
It's not that I am anti-science. It's just like science needs to stop being anti-human because we are the ones that make the decision.
Yeah.
Right. Now, the B-21 is going to have the operators in it. if they do this setup.
It's going to have people. It's going to have people fly in. It's going to have a crew of 2, just like the B-2. The difference is it's costing the taxpayers a hell of a lot less money, and it will still do the same job, and it's still stealthy. The reason they don't make a big deal out of the B-2 doing its job is it sounds like the credo with Batman. The reason he never takes his mask off, it's like, it's his anonymity. Okay. Yeah. That's why they can operate in the worst weather in the world or in the middle of the night, and they can pretty much outsmart any system that's out there. But like that F-117 that got shot down, and it was in Serbia, Croatia. Mm-hmm. They were flying in a damn corridor. Somebody forgot to give them the memo on that one. You don't have to be a genius to. I don't care what you're flying. It's going to get knocked down if you're flying in a specific spot and at a specific time. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not true.
Yeah, you ever see Air America? A lot of the stuff that was in that movie was based on actual crap those guys went through. They had some VC guy who's working in a rice paddy, and he picks up this ancient rifle. Plane's flying over. He shot out one of the damn engines with one shot with this rusty garbage rod rifle because he knew when the plane was coming over.
Doesn't that always happen?
Yeah, pretty much.
The main difference between the F-117 and the B-2 platform is the B-2 is so fucking high that it's hard to detect even if they have the correct equipment. Plus, the F-117, the way it was made, is actually way more observable than the B-2. The B-2
some of
the vertical fins.
Some of the nicknames they gave that thing, right?
They
called it Wobbling Goblin.
Okay.
That's why I had on the computers, or the Hopeless Diamond.
Does anyone have any questions about our background photograph of the studio?
Oh, the buff sitting there?
Because if they do.
Nice. You do know they're flying till 2050.
Start date 43125.8 in preparation for decommissioning ceremony. The Enterprise NCC 1701D is escorted by the B-52.
Of course it would be.
That giant has been in service for so long.
Yep, the big ugly fat fellow.
Oh, don't call her ugly. She's gorgeous.
Oh yeah. You heard about it was one of the runs that a B-52 group that was doing over Iraq, and the fighter jets that were escorting it, actually one of them fired a HARM missile, and the vectoring radar that a B-52 uses, for the tail gunner, right? Guess what happened? It homed in on this one B-52. She lost her stabilizers, and most of her. She lost the guns and a big chunk of her tail. Believe it or not, she made it back to her base, in Europe. And they were able to perform repairs, and she was able to fly back to the States. I don't know of any other aircraft that could have survived something like that. The plane has been nicknamed in harm's way.
Well,
It was one of
I'll
those
be honest with you.
incidents.
I would not want to piss off one of the men or women in one of those birds.
No.
I'm just saying the biggest rocket we have can be flown up under the wing of the B-52
Mhm.
and launched 1,000 fucking miles outside of a country and hit the fucking target.
Yeah.
Mm,
What did they use in the X-15 program? The B-52.
Right.
The hypersonic program.
The B-1, the X-1 through 15,
Oh, yeah.
why was Colonel
Okay.
Brown the first one to fly the X-15? Do you know?
Oh, my goodness.
Do you know, Mark?
I do. I want to see if anybody else out here does. I'm
Because
tired
Chuck
of being
Yeager said you're not dropping me from a B-52. And when Brown showed him, oh, it's safe, he was like, okay, now I'll break the speed record.
Well, one of the X-15 flights, it wasn't a traditional black X-15. She had a white ceramic coating and conformal fuel tanks.
Right.
She broke every existing speed record in existence, but one bad side effect, she could only do it once. It literally fried that paint off of it.
Mm-hmm.
She was doing yeah.
Right. Yeah, but people don't get it.
And she flew at the edge of space. I mean, literally, if she'd gone a little bit more up, she would have been in orbit.
As a matter of fact, that flight, they made a joke as the guy was flying it and went, well, you're now an astronaut.
Yeah, he got awarded wings.
Mm-hmm. I was like, you just broke the stratosphere.
Yeah, you're in space, buddy.
You're now an astronaut.
You got the wings. They made sure of that. He was the only guy in the X-15 program that got astronaut wings because he broke the altitude records, the speed records, you name it.
Yeah, I remember watching those videos. The was it Fantasy of Flight? I can't remember the title of them, but watching all those old test videos and going, that would be one hell of a ride once.
Oh yeah. I just can't imagine something flying so fast it blistered the paint special paint right off of her.
I'm just saying the landing itself would take them a year to clean the cockpit out after I would get out.
Oh, that's okay. That's what they made steam hoses for.
But yeah, those things. And I saw a video on the H-20, which is the Chinese version of our B-2, and they said the problem is they're using the technology that they stole from the F-117 that crashed.
Yeah, the one that got shot down in Serbia.
The problem is, because they haven't had any stealth training, that H-20 has the cross-section 30 times bigger than the F-35.
It's basically like an office building flying around.
Mm-hmm. And it's a wing just like the B-2 was, and just standard, the wing is partially stealth alone. So because they don't have any experience with actually flying stealth, they don't have that thing. And the problem is here's the other problem with that platform. It needs to be refueled. It only has, I think, like 6,000 mile range. It literally can get to California's shoreline and then needs to be refueled.
unless he's planning on getting out and walking. Oh, wait a
The
minute. That's
B2,
not an option.
if I'm not mistaken, the B2 bombers, the 21 of them that we sent, launched from what, Arizona?
No, actually, they're Middle America.
Yeah, I'm saying they're somewhere in the middle. They launched from there, went all the way over to Iraq,
Mhm.
did there, and made it back without refueling.
Yeah, but they always have the race. They
No,
always
they
have the
refueled.
racetrack going.
They did do one refueling, but
Mhm.
they can, with most countries, make it to the country, to drop, and without needing that refueling. Not,
They
hey, I
have
made it to the country. Can you refuel me before I bomb?
basically they have a bed, a microwave. So they got a bunk and a microwave,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess a radio if they really want to listen to some tunes, if they have time to do it, because those are some of the longest flights operationally, except for maybe the Falklands, where the V bombers were flown from the UK all the way down to the Falklands. But of course, Ascension Island belongs to us. So guess where they refueled?
I'm
We
sorry, the
have
B2 has a 6,000-mile range.
Mm-hmm.
No, the B-52 has a released 6,000-mile range.
Yeah,
No,
they're never going to tell you. They're never going to tell you what their range really is.
It's just like, you hear that America never had during like my time in that they never had any really super fast jets. That it was still little Winkies, and Invaders and Avengers and I'm like, well, what were those F-15s and F-16s and F-18s that were flying over Lebanon?
or the F-111.
Yeah, well, they weren't flying in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, we can go back.
The SR-71 went operational in the 50s.
The Second World War. Guess what they had flying out of Italy? They had a pair of P-80s.
Yeah.
They were looking for some of those so-called Wunderwaffe, the ME-262.
Wonder Waffles?
Yeah. They never found them. They shot up a bunch of ground targets. But the P-80 was the start of something that snowballed into what we have now.
Well, basically, it was a bunch of engineers that walked around going, this is going to be a start of something good.
You got it.
Yeah, the P-80 was well ahead of World War II.
Yeah. Well, when she started out, she had 650 caliber machine guns.
Mm-hmm.
Carried on, she became the shooting star.
The P-80 was basically the predecessor to the
yeah, kind of.
America's enemies, foes, whatever you want to call them,
Mm-hmm.
never figured out how tricky we were.
Nope.
Because the Germans had all of their Panzers had this incredible armor on the sides, the top, in front. Well, it was toilet tissue in the back with an engine that had a gas tank directly underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
If we figured that out, it's like, okay, somebody just roll a fucking hand grenade up under there.
Well, remember
there it goes.
I don't remember which plane it was, but it was not as maneuverable as the Zero. And they went, "Oh, we got a solution. We can make this thing roll quicker." They took the round part or the rounded edge, cut it so it was
Yeah,
flat,
just made it squared it off. You're talking about
and these planes went,
F4F, the Wildcat.
yeah.
Well, then they came
Actually,
out with the Corsair, which they said, "Oh well, it's too slow. You're not going to be able to use it." It's like, yeah, but it had a service ceiling twice as high as anybody else.
do
Yeah.
you know what the Japanese called the Corsair? They called it the Whistling Death. They were terrified of those things.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because-
You wanted the nice things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
By the
look,
way, they
the
came up
Japanese
with
were told stay away from the yellow legs. They're the Marines.
hmm
And in Korea, the Chinese were told to stay away from the black legs. Who were the black legs? They were the Marines with the high jump boots. It's like, no, these guys are insane. They don't care.
No.
So,
Yeah.
so what I thought was hilarious was they called you the Devil Dogs before they went, "Oh, Marines are just released from an insane asylum," thinking, "Oh,
Do you-
that'll
do you
make them
that name?
less afraid." That scared the shit out of them. They went, "No fucking way,
Do
I'm
you-
that way."
Do you know where they got that name?
Belleau Wood.
Thank
First
you.
World War.
It was from the Germans, so they took that as a compliment.
Yeah, Tuvelhausen. Because
American
they're like,
marksmanship.
when the Marines got there, the French were like, okay, we slowed them down. Now we can move back. We can do a withdrawal and we can get organized together. The Marines
They
said,
were-
withdraw ahead.
They-
Hell, we just got here.
yeah.
Then you had the story of the Army 77th Regiment that was all men that were over 35,
Yep.
and they get
Give
sent.
a damn. Let's go.
The Marine general was pissed because they had a Army unit just completely fucking fail. So he went, "Oh, I'm just going to take 5 of these and just fill them in all over the place where I need them." And after about a week, his leaders went, "We need to put these guys together and have them do something because they're fucking crazy."
Mhm.
And he went, "Okay, storm that beach." And after that, they went, "They're not fucking Army, they're fucking Marines."
Well, every
Because-
branch
Yeah.
in the First World War in 1913, every branch was issued the UC-220 combat knife. Every branch. After Belleau Wood, Pershing found out exactly what Marines were doing with that knife.
hmm
And all he had to say to everybody is, "It's just a freaking knife. Why can't you guys do this?" Now, he was talking to the entire United States Army when he said that.
hmm
These idiots are back here. You
And
know,
they were pot shotting the Kaiser's men from 1,000 yards like it was a shooting gallery.
well, and that night, the UC-220 is a fighting knife, yes, but it's perfectly balanced for long distance throwing.
hmm
I know, and then Mark, as you well know, and Sean, you know, I have one.
hmm
And it was a U.S. Army issue.
I can walk into your house and touch it. I know exactly where it is.
Yeah, it's right in there with my 3D printer. Yeah, because it's a great tool still.
hmm
I still want to take the handle and do some scrapings and send them to a lab and say, "Can you trace the DNA on this?" Served active combat from 1913 to 1985. What do you think they'll find? Wait, let's get the short list. What do you think they won't find?
yeah. Of course, there were lots of things well, let's see. On the Army side, they thought that it was unfair of the Army to use shotguns. The model 1897. Oh, by the way, it carried the 03 bayonet too.
Mhm.
Just fun. It was a basic trench broom.
Well, when they talk about the single round out of a shotgun, and they're like, "Oh, that's a lot. That's overkill. That's this. That's that, and the other thing." Nobody
What is
remembers that if it wasn't for the boys in the 81st, it would never exist because they started making their own rounds for shotguns. They were like, "If this is all we have, I'm going to put a hole in 3 people in a dead line.
Shit.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, other than the fact that you had to get out of the vehicle to load the fucking 4 barrels, the Marine fucking grenade launcher, not grenade launcher, it wasn't grenades, it was bazooka tank.
Mm-hmm.
That fucking thing was ridiculous.
Oh, you're talking about the Ontos, the thing.
No, the thing wasn't ridiculous. That's a very useful tool.
Oh God, yes. You had those 105s. You had how many on it?
They had 105s that could do just about anything.
Yeah, they could ruin a lot of armor's days.
Like I said,
branches bag each other, and what people don't understand is like Mark and I can tease each other forever. He's Army, I'm Marines.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if somebody who never served, never put that uniform on and was in that line were to tease either one of us, they'd have to deal with both of us.
Yeah. I'm just saying the only thing it was missing was a way to load it without getting shot at.
Hopefully you were keeping enough of a range.
You know, if you were in a battlefield, it did not take long for you to figure out how to either die or improvise, adapt, and overcome.
Yeah. However,
these two things are the absolute outcome.
The fact that it would drive up and go, ooh, look, tank, boom, gone tank.
Okay, here's one for you. The airborne was crying about having something big enough to take out the Soviet tanks. So in 56, I think it was GM came up with Chrysler came up with something very easy. It was a small tracked vehicle that mounted a 90 millimeter gun. It had a basic gunner shield on the damn thing. It could do 45 miles an hour, and it had a 90 millimeter gun on it.
And
that's
where did they get the idea from? Do you remember? A little place called Okinawa, because the Seabees said we could do this with a tractor.
Yeah.
And they had those high-speed tractors on the sand, and they just said, all right, we'll just put this gun from this blown-up tank on this, and we'll just take off and start shooting shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Seabees. What are Seabees?
Which is why the Marines and the Seabees will always get along.
Oh, God, yes.
They call us junior Seabees, and we call them junior Marines. We're brothers to the end.
Yeah, you had the Seabees, you had the engineers.
All I gotta say is the Seabees can either get rid of whatever's in front of them, or hey, look, there's a city yesterday. Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Well, in the island hopping campaign, when they got Iwo, how do you think the runways got built? They just took the equipment the Japanese left behind and built the damn runways.
But I'm just saying,
at Guadalcanal, the runway, they pummeled it. They destroyed it. The Naval Air Forces destroyed it, and between the Army Corps of Engineers, the combat engineers in the Army, and the Seabees, it was fully operational in 24 hours.
They're like, you want it where, when? You got it.
And then they're like, well, you can't use. Their first one is, we can't really get you concrete. Well, the Seabees figured out a way, and no one realized how they did it. Well, until they were building a road up Mount Suribachi.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do? This road, this entire island is made out of coral.
Yep.
You know what happens when you crush this crap up and then add a little bit of water?
You got it.
And sand? You have a road.
Ta-da!
Where did you learn that? Oh, well, we figured that crap out of Guadalcanal when we made those 4 runways. It's like
the Army Corps of Engineers are pretty amazing.
Yeah, they are.
However, the Seabees can make a bridge out of nothing. And you go, how the fuck is
they
this
do need spit.
It's like, where'd you get the material that you built that from? Don't ask. Why? You don't want to know.
They made during
It
the
was
war.
an island over there.
Yeah. Well, during the war, they made one of the movies they made for the folks at home. One of the major studios was about the Seabees.
Mm-hmm.
And they included one of the incidents where there wasn't any armor immediately available to back up the infantry. So one of these guys had a Caterpillar dozer. He just basically it was a Japanese light tank. And you know what he did? It was on a rise where they couldn't really get a good shot at it. This CB just said, "I got a machine." Great big Caterpillar dozer made it off of the off the beach.
Yep.
And he was clearing a path anyway, so he went up on the ridge and pushed the Japanese tank right off the ridge into them.
What was it? The Seabees and a submarine that basically took out a fucking train 20 miles inland.
Yep.
Yeah, the guys they set some charges.
The commander of the submarine said, "I want to take out that."
Mm-hmm.
And the Seabees went, "Okay, give us 20 minutes."
Yep. They sent the guys.
Yeah, people don't realize that the most dangerous person in the military is not the person with the rifle.
No.
It's that idiot that's down in the engine room that knows how to tear apart a turbine engine, put it back together without the ship sinking. That when they come out, you go, "Hey, we got this problem." They go, "I got something for that."
Oh yeah.
The fact that we could have lost so many more ships during World War II, that these engineers and CDs just kept afloat with holes the size of me in them.
And let's see. And you wonder where they got the inspiration for Scotty. Actually, there's an incident in one of the movies. It was made in the 60s where they were trying to line up. They had a malfunction with a torpedo. They were trying to hit a tanker that was at a dock. It hit a truck full of explosives. They missed it. Something went screwy with the steering on the torpedo. It went up on it went past the tanker, went up on the beach, and nailed that truckload of explosives. Talk about the 4th of July.
I think it was World War II where the torpedoes just kind of sucked. There was a whole batch of them that didn't work.
Yeah, well,
and they were telling the ship's captain, "Maybe if you aim better."
No,
and every time that they would hit, they wouldn't explode.
Yeah, it was a faulty firing mechanism, and it took an engineer to figure it out, and he did. And you know what they would do? They would have a blank charge, and the torpedo would be weighted like it had a warhead, and they would take it up in a crane, and they would drop it from like 40 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept working on it and working on it and working on it and dropping them, and finally the damn thing worked. But they machined a whole new firing pin because the Naval Bureau refused to believe that their firing pins were faulty.
It was like they went through that whole war with only a third of the torpedoes working.
Stuff.
Now everybody hears that the jokes about the military does things stupid. And they never listen, they never pay attention. Here's a place that Mark may or may not remember. Since we're talking about history, I'll bring this up.
Okay.
Which was a prime example of American military personnel not only learning from the past, but making things expeditiously. You recognize that, Mark?
Ooh, that looks like an interesting place.
Mm-hmm.
Do carry on, sir.
Da Nang 66.
Hmm.
That air base consisted of I think it was a 1,500-foot airstrip, and that was it when they got there.
Yeah.
The Army Combat Engineers and the United States Navy Seabees in 72 hours built that base, and it became the largest air base in all of Vietnam.
Yep. And the busiest.
And it is now an international airport.
Yeah. Hilarious.
And they built that without concrete. They used metal platings that they could find, and going right back to Guadalcanal, coral.
Yep.
So yeah, when people like to down our military or say we're stupid, well, pay attention to who you're talking to.
Yeah.
People don't like that.
Yeah.
And the one thing I've been hearing is the stuff that got left behind in Afghanistan. Well, if you took a really good look at some of the stuff that got left behind, a lot of it was worn out, no longer serviceable. And in order to make anything work, you would have to tear apart about 6 things to make one thing work.
Yeah, but the fact that they were ordered to leave it, and then when they got back to the United States, they were charged for everything they left.
That should never have happened.
Yeah, that's stupidity of the first order. Yeah.
But they go, oh yeah, a lot of stuff that was usable was left. Yeah, that was set up years before, and that was supposed to be the Afghani military equipment.
Yeah, they folded like a house of cards.
When the Taliban that got released at 5,000 people and the U.S. government pulled out, the Taliban went, well, we can kill you or you can leave. They were chicken shit and left. So that wasn't their fault.
House of cards. Now, here's the kicker. They got a Black Hawk working, but they had to tear apart 10 different Black Hawks to get this one working.
Oh, yeah, the Black Hawk.
But did I mention what happened?
Flight?
They have a new president. A month after they got that one operational to fly him around in, it had a complete hydraulic system failure and everybody died.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know why? Because they didn't know what the hell they were doing. It's not like
I'm just going to say this.
Pakistan, It's a helicopter. Different things.
Military. People think military grade means, it's great equipment. Military grade means it was built by the lowest fucking bidder.
Well, there's certain tolerances you have to maintain on things, and there's a reason after X hours you replace things. And if you use crap to rebuild crap, guess what happens?
That's kind of like when
at the
they
same time,
what
people don't understand is, that's true about the military. It's the lowest cost, the one who gets the lowest bid gets the job.
Mm-hmm.
However, they put it in the hands of people who go, laws of physics, what are those?
Yeah.
I just know that if I don't make this thing work, I'm going to die today.
Yeah.
I don't want to die today.
Yeah. Well, you have two things. You have 2 things on a helicopter. If you lose one of them, you will get very religious. And I think, Drew, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
It's called a Jesus nut. There's one on the tail rotor and one on the main rotor assembly. And if you lose that, you'll be going, oh, Jesus. That's all you're going to have time to do.
Well, if you lose the one on the tail rotor, you get really sick as you go down. If you lose the one above you,
You're done.
you're going to meet the maker.
Yes, you're going to meet God very
Yes,
quickly.
if you lose the one on the tail, and the lack of torque retention through that line doubles up to the engine and starts causing the main rotor to not only slow, but try to reverse. And then you're dead.
Like I said, the
It's
people
the
that are
nightmare
going,
version of
You've
counter
got,
will probably destroy itself because it's still in gear.
yeah, we've had so many people that have told me about, oh, well, I was here and we were in this and blah, 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 blah. So I was here and I was in this. Oh, we didn't have those then.
It's not like a Huey where they were designed with all these tolerances. You know, you didn't have to worry about it that much, but it's not like the new stuff where it's got to be spot on or you're toast.
Well, yeah, and in certain parts of Lebanon, what most people don't realize, we were still using Iroquois.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's not an old beast, there was no such thing.
Yeah.
That's a rattle bucket, regardless of how you look at it. But in some cases, it's still operational.
Yeah, and anything with an octane rating, you could throw a bottle of bourbon in the tank. It didn't care, you know.
You know, you got
an awful expensive way to do it, but
you know, you've got. Let's see, when the Iroquois helicopters were in the air, was Korea. Now we retired like 90 some odd % of them, but we kept about 10-15%. It's like, okay, we're just going to hold these back just in case. Why? Well, they're economical. They're tough as all get out.
Oh yeah, it doesn't care.
And these insane monkeys know how to fix them.
Yeah.
And what's really funny is when you look at these old Ohio classes now, they're saying we're going to remilitarize them. They're reaching out to all the old dogs going, we're having this problem. How about we just make you a chief and you come down here and help us figure it out?
It's kind of like when they last brought out the Iowa classes.
Yeah,
I read an article about one of these gentlemen, and he said, I made it to PO3, and now I'm one of 1,200 Master Chief Petty Officers that have been recalled and sent back to the engine rooms of battleships because these clowns don't even know what a bolt is.
They can't figure out how.
If it's not hooked up to a computer, they can't figure it out.
Oh God!
How do you start the engine of a Ohio class sub ship? You pour this down it and light. Basically, you put whiskey down the fucking thing and light it, and that's how you start the fucking engine. It's not like the new engines, because they were partially steam engines back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we do have. Is it one or two museum ships of World War I battleships?
You have the Texas. She's been completely refurbished.
The Texas and I think, those are the last two.
BB-35, and I got news for you. If they ever called her back, she's ready. She's got 14.
The other two, they're sitting where they can't be moved anymore. They're literally on the bottom where they parked them. Yeah.
Well, Missouri could be called back, and she's at Pearl. She's actually near the memorial, the Arizona.
The Missouri made it back to Pearl?
Yep.
Wow. I haven't heard about that.
The New Jersey was being redone.
She's 60% through her refit.
Yeah.
I keep tabs on her. I served on her for about 6 months.
I'm just saying, I have a great idea for those battleships.
Yep.
take the.
I mean, if I could have a boat, it would be the New Jersey. I'm sorry. If I could have a boat again, it would be the New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
If they ever bring back those battleships, what they need to do is take the old turrets off and put rocket turrets on it instead.
You don't need to do that.
They have rocket boxes on them anyway. They put them on in Vietnam.
Yeah.
They can handle all the way up to a harpoon. And if a harpoon can't reach you, you're on the other side of the planet.
I'm just saying, put Sea Whizzes all over a battleship and put like the Patriot and THAAD systems on there.
I don't need a Patriot. They've got the Phalanx systems. They've got, trust me, they'll get every upgrade.
Hold on.
Modern upgrade when they need it.
Mark, the Patriot with an F-35 can be used to hit land-based targets.
Do you realize that the New Jersey is going to be fitted with laser weapons, energy weapons?
Oh, are they putting the laser in the?
She is having
Mm-hmm.
her guns are being upgraded back to a 16.
Nice.
So she's not 14 anymore. So you just scrap that 250 miles, that 25 miles. She can now shoot in 80, and if she tilts her tanks for tilting for better range, she can go in 215 miles. That's a big push.
Yeah, but if you on YouTube, there's a guy named Habitual Line Crosser, and he is one of the top NCOs for the Patriot Training School.
Okay.
And he was the guy that pushed the button that launched the Patriot that the F-35 guided into the target.
Nice.
So the Patriots are now not only air defense, they can fuck you up on the ground too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, it's like, okay, when New Jersey's finished, she's going to be able to operate land, air, and sea defenses without ever moving more than 4 knots.
Yeah.
And they have figured out, other than taking the engines apart and recasting everything, so they have to figure out people that know how to actually cast metal again. She is going to be basically brand new in her original skin.
Yeah.
And they're adding armor plating on the inside, and they're adding I can't remember what they call the radar limiting texture that they put on the outside, but they're doing that as well.
Oh,
yeah, it's basically a.
And she's dual system. You got to remember, one of those old boats, they have 2 bridges.
Yeah.
They have the flying bridge up at the top,
mm-hmm.
and they have the main bridge.
And they still have the original
and the battle bridge
for the guns.
The battle bridge is still going to be 100% analog.
Yeah.
From that area, you are not going to defeat that gal. She's going to whoop your butt whether you want to be whooped or not.
Yeah.
You can jam her radar, you can do it, but she's still going to have eyes on, and she's still going to have the big binoculars. So
the one thing about the Texas, they literally went from her keel all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
They worked on her for, God, what, 8 months?
A little over 9, actually.
9,
almost
yeah.
a whole year.
Close to 9. And basically, she's pretty much ready to go.
She's battle ready right now.
Yeah, because they put her back to her World War II configuration. They even restored the Kingfish. They restored a Kingfisher and put it back on the catapults. But you and I know if they bring her back online, they would turn that into a helo deck.
Oh, hell yeah!
That wouldn't be a problem at all.
We tried to sink one of our old aircraft carriers, and it took 2 fucking days.
Yeah.
Oh, the Oriskany.
So
yeah,
if the old fucking aircraft carrier with us using destroyers to try and sink it. How the fuck does China and Russia think they're going to sink one of our aircraft carriers?
Well, let's just say they've been embarrassed enough. The so-called man-made islands they made.
Oh, the ones that are sinking?
Yeah.
The sinking cities? Yeah.
Yeah. It's, you know how they got an actual aircraft carrier? They bought it. They bought one that wasn't even finished from the Ukrainians. It was an unfinished project that had been sitting for what, 10, 15 years?
15.
Yeah,
and with no electronics and no engine.
No,
it only can run for like
she had her operational hull. She did not have a battle hull.
Yeah.
And what people don't realize is when they take out an American ship, it's like, oh my God, would you look at the tonnage? But when you look at them, it's like almost nothing. Well, you know what? If you're running around with toilet paper for a hull, we've got guys over here with rifles that can put holes in you below the waterline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when they retired the CVN 65, or the Enterprise,
the Biggie.
Yeah, basically, she was designed to have 8 reactors, but she had 6. They had to cut her apart to remove those 6 reactors. And it took them, God knows how long, how many years?
Yeah, she only used 4 at a time. That's what people don't understand.
Yeah. And that was one of the reasons they're saying, like, well, why didn't they save her like the JFK when it was retired? Well, because the JFK never had any reactors, and she's probably going to be a museum ship. She was an oiler.
The big difference is the Enterprise is a floating nuclear bomb.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I know up in Washington, they wanted to strip her down, decontaminate her, remove the radiation, and bring her to Seattle and set the Enterprise up as a museum ship.
Yeah.
But when they got into her and they realized how much of that metal had been irradiated,
yeah,
it's kind of like, no, we can't do that.
It was just
we can't do that.
Yeah, she'd more than done her duty by that point.
But
didn't that Enterprise went through 60 years, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that was 3 sets of reactors they had in that ship, because they had to replace the reactors every 20 years.
Yes.
Yep. Well, one good thing that came out of this, when they pulled all the control rods out in the tear down decontamination process, the control rods got turned into medical isotopes.
Yep.
So they saved an awful lot of people.
And the reactor shells that were not irradiated, they're actually being converted into MRI machines.
Yeah.
Well,
she's still serving.
Our Russia has 1 aircraft carrier currently. That aircraft carrier had to be towed back after leaving port by 100 fucking feet.
Yep.
It's 30 years plus old. It doesn't fucking work. China has, I think, 3 now. 2 that they made themselves, and they're working on a 4th. None of their aircraft carriers are nuclear. They use black oil.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're falling apart.
Our aircraft carriers can disappear because they go so fucking fast. Their aircraft carriers, you can go, hey, see that black plume of smoke? Yeah, fire that way.
Yeah. But The Enterprise is a beautiful lady.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
I heard there is going to be another Enterprise, and probably Newport News.
CBN 80.
Yep. And Newport News is building her.
Well, let me pull up an article, see if I can find out where she's at in construction.
I know some of the great shipyards you have Newport News, and you have Bath, which has been building for the Navy since the Revolution.
Yeah.
Then you have Bremerton, that's over on the West Coast.
In 2017, on the 80, they had the steel cutting ceremony.
She's going to be beautiful.
She is scheduled to be in full operation and christened for service in 2028.
Fantastic.
And if I know the men and women at Newport News, I'm going to say in 2026 she'll be floating out on her own and already finished with her shakedown.
Oh yeah, because that's the way they roll.
Well, they said they'd never be able to finish the Nautilus.
That ship's going to be a fucking huge ship.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be bigger than the fucked up, let's break everything before we launch it because we put in new without testing anything.
Are you talking about the Ford?
Yes.
Ford's a pretty big piece of real estate, man.
Yeah, but this one's supposed to have, if I'm not mistaken, this one's going to have an extra elevator that the original Ford didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Ford had 3. This one's supposed to have 4 again.
She's got the aft 1, 2, 3 in front, so she's going to have 4 elevators here.
And do you see that sea whiz that's right in front of the tower?
Do what?
You see that fucking sea whiz sitting there in front of the tower? It's got 1, 2 R2-D2s that I can see from here. One on the top is an R2-D2. That's a sea whiz. And then the one down below is also a sea whiz.
Mm-hmm. And I got an AWACS ready to take off.
And notice the rocket launcher down here.
Yeah, a navalized version of the 35 is going to be, that's a pretty damn good little airplane.
Look at right here.
Oh, yeah.
She's got small rockets there.
Uh-huh.
Small rockets here. When you look at it, when you go, okay, well, why are there no rockets right there? No other rockets right there? Because that's where the elevators are. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. There's another elevator. There's another elevator. Way over here.
Yep.
And what's really different about this one to all the others in her class, you can launch from here and you can launch dual from both instead of just singles.
Yeah.
So she will be ready to hunt bears. I would not want to mess with anyone on this lady.
No.
So I'm proud to say I would love to at least be able to see her.
Yeah.
Cast off from Newport. I would pay for that.
See, that ship right there is basically an aircraft carrier and a destroyer put together.
Pretty much.
Well, so was her predecessor.
Yeah.
Well, you notice, this is what I love. When you look here, you think of all the Ford class carriers, you look at this island, it's like, you know what? You're paying homage to the Bach.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't realize that that's a very important outlook right there.
That is just beautiful.
Isn't she?
They had an incident a little while back in the Philippines. where they had 5 Chinese destroyers showing up trying to flex their muscles.
The China muscle. Ooh.
Yeah,
We had a cruiser, right?
and there was a Philippine Coast Guard vessel,
Mm-hmm.
which is roughly the size of the old destroyer escorts. You know what I'm talking about, a Buckley?
Yeah.
Right.
There was a collision. One of these Chinese destroyers decided to try to do a crazy Ivan or something. Didn't work out so well for him. Screwed his hull all up. Apparently they use really bad aluminum or something on their ships. They didn't get the memo that the British quit using aluminum, you know?
Well, they're not even using true aluminum. They're actually
No.
using
And
a
he was
composite.
in all kinds of trouble. And the Philippine Coast Guard vessel hove to and said, "Do you require assistance? We're here." Meantime, they had put out a call for any additional vessels to come in to assist. The other 4 Chinese destroyers held off.
But I thought we had a cruiser in that area sitting.
It was actually an Arleigh Burke that showed up.
Look at that sonar cone.
Nice. And she can take care of herself.
She can give somebody a really bad weekend without even trying.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
But the Arleigh Burke showed up and said, "How can we assist you? You appear to be in Philippine territorial waters. Are you lost? Are you having a navigational problem? If not, you need to turn around and leave."
Yep.
They weren't asking. And the Philippine Coast Guard vessel was ready to throw a tow line onto the Chinese vessel that was badly damaged. I mean, it ripped open her hull. Fortunately, it was above the water line, but still, it looked like somebody had gone along the side of her with a can opener.
I'm just saying, when you talk about Russia and China and stuff like that, China's a little bit better than Russia is. Russia, hey, I'm trying to find a sub, and then surfaces with the sub on top of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she bumped one of the Los Angeles class subs. They felt a bump. It wasn't too bad. They basically scratched the paint.
Right.
But it did major damage to the conning tower.
Yeah.
On the Russian boat. They were afraid the Russian boat was going to pre-flood in Goodnight Irene, you know?
So, like I said,
too, and said they offered assistance to they said, "Look, your fellow submariners, you're in trouble. We can help. These things happen."
And like I said, all of their ships are over 20 years old, all their subs.
At the very least.
And people were making a big deal about it coming down to Cuba, which it's been doing for years.
Yeah, who cares?
There's a reason why we know exactly where they are.
Yeah.
We could hear them from Russia.
Yeah. It's, that says it all. But they actually, Los Angeles, they basically surfaced right alongside her and just said, "Look, if you need any assistance, we're here. It's the law of the sea, you know."
We're looking for you. We found you on accident.
Yeah. The sonar guy was saying, "Hey, there's another boat trying to surface here, Captain. You know, what's going on?"
Yeah.
They heard a big old thump.
Yeah, well, it goes back to we know how to build them.
Well, here's the other thing: the Russians only do single hulls.
Yeah.
Our subs are dual hulled.
Yeah.
So even if it had pierced the first hole, we wouldn't have sank.
Well, there's some guy in where I'm from originally little place called Electric Boat that was started by a crazy Irishman named John Holland.
Ah,
And the
yeah,
rest
that-
is history.
But
Well,
I'm
we gonna
just-
call it, boys, or what are we doing?
we will as soon as he gets back. I
Okay.
think it's about time. But it's one of those things of when you actually come on,
Yeah.
their brand new destroyer, their newest destroyer was sank in the Red Sea, Black Sea, wherever the fuck it is, by Ukraine's drones.
Yeah.
Ukraine doesn't have a navy. How
No, they
the
don't.
fuck does that particular destroyer was less than 20 years old? It was one of their newest ones. How
Yeah.
the hell does your top ship get sunk by a fucking drone? I'm like, y'all are supposed to be the second most powerful military in the world.
It went
And you've
down the
lost-
tubes after the wall
You've
came down. It was like people were deserting like crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, you can see pictures of Vladivostok now with abandoned nuclear submarines and ships. They're sitting there rusting away at the moorings.
did you
this
hear
is-
this week that
This is
one of the-
terrifying. If those things are still alive,
Did you hear that the Czech Republic, I believe it was, is sending over like enough ammunition, old Russian ammunition, to supply all the small arms for Ukraine for like 2 years?
oh yeah,
And Russia's like, where'd you find that at? Well, dumbasses, when we broke apart, you left all this shit here. We've been storing it for years. So guess what? It's
You
now
can put
coming
it-
back to you.
yeah. I don't think I have to worry about Putin much longer because I think his own people are going to get rid of him.
Oh, and here's the other thing. Canada 2.0 over there
Yeah,
that has better armament than Canada, Poland. They
Yeah.
said, "Oh, you want to invade us? I'm waiting for the F-35s to show up." They now have 10 Patriot systems there.
yeah. Well, you know, the Ukrainian Air Force just got a shipment of F-16s.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to worry about it. They took their training here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, these are the export models.
Right.
The Russians have nothing to counter it. This is either the fighting Vulcan version or it's an early Viper version.
Right.
It's either one is. The Air Force calls it a light fighter. My ear, that thing can take on the best things ever made on the block. And it's yeah. Good night.
I'm
That's
just
it.
saying the F-16 with just the Stingers, if they're taking ships out with drones,
Mhm.
think what happens when the F-16 flies up and goes, "Ooh, look, ship."
Well, you know, they built the turtle tank. Well, you know what happened? The Russians finally built the turtle tanks. It still doesn't help them because the drones they've been using are like the commercial drones, like
Mhm.
Photographers use. Amazon's been exploring using those to deliver packages.
Right.
And basically, what do they have lots of? They've got lots of mortar rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what you do when you drop a mortar round on something? It's going to go off.
Well,
All they did was just, or they would just have a drone packed with like C4 or Semtex. They would just fly that sucker right into it because they're cheap and easy to replace. Good
so
night.
every one of our aircraft carriers have those big radar planes on there. What, 2 of them
Oh,
per
sure.
aircraft carrier?
more than one.
More than one. That's their
Orions. They
IC.
always carry 3.
So
They're
we
used
have
for
more.
anti-submarine warfare, and they're also used for high altitude chase.
Yeah,
Did
it's
you
the,
hear
it's
that?
the Grumman that they've never really had to improve on because it's great for what it's doing.
She's got a
Russia has
7,000-mile radar range released.
Russia had 3 of those and 2 command planes, right? They now only have 1 command plane and 1 radar plane
Yeah.
because they let that radar plane and the command planes, 2 of the radar planes and 1 command plane flew too close to the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
part of get off my lawn, didn't you understand?
well, that's the problem. They never saw the sign.
And the other thing is did you see the World War I Russian tanks that they are sending now?
They're using like T-55s and T-72s.
T-20 somethings.
Oh dear God, they've been stripping the museums.
The bubble. Remember the old bubble tank that they had?
Yeah.
Where it had the little dome and then it looked like a kind of rounded off thing? That was what was being shipped on the trains. No improvements.
The Cold War leftovers.
No, they were improvements. They changed the oil.
Yeah. I'm waiting to see if they're going to be using they're going to go and get the Joseph Stalin class tanks from 1945.
They were bragging
Something
about.
Tells me they're going to try to find out how to remake the Lenin class.
Oh, good
They were
Lord!
bragging about that Bradley.
That's going to be sad.
Was it a Bradley or an Abrams that they captured?
They captured 1 or 2 Abrams.
Okay, they were bragging about it.
That's okay.
And,
those were early model ones.
1990 model. The original.
It's not
And
the latest one.
We're going to make American style tanks, and
No, you're not. They can't figure it out.
Tried to break into a military facility to get more information on the tanks, and got caught.
Oh, what a shame!
And somebody said it. Okay, you captured one of our oldest versions of that tank. And before it was captured, it destroyed 50 of your tanks.
Yeah.
Well, it's working hard.
Hard working.
This was probably one that had been rebuilt God knows how many times. And probably was never really upgraded, not even to a Tusk configuration.
And while it does have good armor, back then that was some amazing armor that we put on it.
Oh yeah, it was Cobham armor. It was something we cooked up with the British.
It doesn't have the reactive armor that they put on now.
No.
So even if they built that tank like it sit when we sent it to Ukraine.
Do you know what they're really terrified of? It's not a tank.
The C-130 with the pallet full of super missiles?
No, it's a ground vehicle. M2 Bradley.
Oh, yeah.
Can you guess why? What's in the turret?
The little turret that blows up tanks?
The little turret with the can-do depleted uranium round cannon.
Yeah.
It goes through those tanks, including the so-called turtle tanks, like a hot knife through butter.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even have time to say, "Oh." They've shown pictures of the so-called formidable Russian tanks looking like something off of a target range.
Hey, Drew, I'm going to say this. I said that the Marines could wipe out Russia. Mm-hmm. I think we could send Tennessee's National Guard to wipe out Russia right now.
You won't even have to do that. The Russian veterans are so fed up with Putin.
No, you know what you do? You just, like Mike said, you just literally send the veterans of Russia.
They're fed up with him. They want him. They
Better
want him
be.
gone. And I don't mean gone. I mean gone.
You didn't catch my joke, though, Drew.
Yes, I did, but I'm not.
Remember the mercenaries? Remember
I'm
what's
not-
left of the Wagner group?
I'm not going to be picking on one individual. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you
No.
remember the Wagner group, the Putin's so-called mercenaries? They turned on him.
The one that we keep bombing because they come up to our places in other countries and attack, even though, there's no Russians here. Not anymore. There's not.
Yeah. This is Drew and I will basically, speaking for both of us, that was an F around and find out.
Oh yeah.
The sad part is
You're
we
absolutely
called
right.
Russia and goes,
Yeah.
we called Russia and went, hey, your people are here. And they went, no, they're not. Okay, you sure? Yeah, they're not there.
No, they're no
Okay.
Russians. They're all worm food.
20 minutes later, there's no Russians here. You're right.
You're right. They're worm food.
Stupid.
Somebody mentioned C-130. Do you know what a Moab is?
Yeah, the pallet-sized fucking bomb that Trump went, I want to drop it on Afghanistan.
It's bigger than what Barnes Wallis designed in World War II.
It's a mountain mover.
Yeah, they tested it in Florida.
Yeah.
Pensacola.
People wonder what was shaking everything.
They tested it in Florida, and then they tested it over in the Middle East.
Yeah. Some test.
That was all it was, because it didn't do anything to help.
I still love.
Drew, should I tell him about the granddaddy to that one?
No, let's not.
They used it. They used it in Nam.
Yeah, I know they used a lot of fun toys in Nam.
Well, they had a lot of ordnance that was left over from the old peacemakers.
Mm-hmm.
That gigantic. What was it? It was like I think it was like a 5,000-pound weapon. Conventional weapon. They used it to clear LZs.
Mm-hmm.
What trees?
I know.
They dropped it. They would drop them without the fins right out of the back of a C-130.
So now the C-130 can hold 4 pallets, which each pallet has 9 cruise missiles.
Uh-huh.
And the Galaxy is, right? The other one's the Galaxy, the bigger one, can hold 7 pallets.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, you send up all of our cargo ships around, say, the side of Russia, and they go nose up, and 4 times 9 is 1836.
Baby, the rain must fall.
You have what?
Is that what we're saying here?
At least 70 C-130s, so 36 times 7. I don't think that they have enough counter measures for that many.
No, they don't.
And this is not touching our stealth.
Oh, we don't need stealth. We don't need it. Why waste it on them? They wouldn't understand it. Actually, guess what flies out? They actually fly out of Hurlburt right over here. Something called a Spectre.
The C-130s over there?
The Spectre.
Oh, yeah.
Need I say more?
We're almost at 2 hours, right?
Yeah. We probably need to call it.
And I have to get up early.
Yep. And me too. Being I'm a caregiver as well as everything else.
Just remember.
Yes, sir.
Drink water with the salt. Don't drown the instructors. I'm talking to Drew.
Uh-huh.
You can drown one showrunner, as long as it's the one that made the choice for the stupid ass life vest.
Oh no, that's not. We're not doing that. It's swimming tomorrow.
Swimming, good.
And it's just in Lake Wheels, and we're
Oh,
back
is
with
it Lake
Sarah.
Wales?
It's a nice town.
We're
What
back
happened
with
to
Sarah.
Herman?
They're going to use that for the regionals. They couldn't find a coach in this area, although they contacted me 4 times, and I told them 4 times no.
Oh.
Because I was starting to have a great deal of trouble breathing, as you well know.
Yeah.
And like the 2 heat strokes last year, and they're still like, oh, well, you can do this and you can do that. No, after this, no, you don't want to risk this.
No.
Just stay hydrated and stay cool, man. Just don't overdo it.
The staying cool part, because when I went down hard last year.
Yeah.
And even though everybody that knows me is like, okay, we need to keep Drew cool. We need to keep him.
Right.
There's still some people that are like, oh, well, maybe if you just did this, or have you ever thought that if you did this, that wouldn't be a problem. And they hate it when I say, let me see your medical degree and we'll discuss this.
Yeah, those are the type of people that I wish you can have my disease for 5 minutes and you will never say a word again.
No.
I would not give them 5 minutes. No.
Why so generous?
I mean, if they could handle what I'm going through for more than 4 seconds, I would be like shocked.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, keep cool, keep your water up. Just don't kill them.
Yeah, and I will have.
The kids are excited; they want to see us again. Lori loves the fact that she's going back to the same group she was with last year. We've got a lot of good stuff going on, which is important.
Absolutely,
it's a group we have communicated with on a very heavy basis for 5 of the 6 years Tori's been in swimming. It's been with this team.
And I'll have the con survival bag with me for the science center.
Yeah, we're going to be making sure that everything's done. Oh, do me a favor, Mark. You have my address, right?
Yes, sir. I do.
Okay. When you meet Wayne, who's from the coast tomorrow.
Yeah, I believe he's on the list. I hope he is, because I have
no idea. He is.
Good.
Or at least that's what June told me.
Okay. Oh, don't worry.
Give him my address. Tell him that he's and my phone number. You have my permission, sir, and it's been broadcasted, so everybody knows you have my permission.
Okay.
Oh, and Mark.
Yes, sir.
I don't care what you do. Take at least one picture, and you need to do a report.
Mm-hmm. I was planning on both of those things.
Okay. Because we got to start doing these reports.
Right.
Well, I'm not even in command, and I'm.
the AERs can be a pain in the butt, and when you ask someone to do them and they just do a quick one, which is fine, I have no issue with it, but it has to be complete.
Yeah, it needs the picture. It's got to have details.
So we are going to, John and I are actually working on a full script for an actual video that we're going to send to Chris to have put on the website. This is how you do an AER.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. It's not rocket science. Hell, it's not even rock science. Just do it.
Yep.
You know.
Have any of those ones that are missing been done?
Do what?
The ones that we were talking about. Have any of them been done?
The ones we're missing?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been done.
Okay. I was going to say maybe I should see if I can do 1 or 2 of them.
I made sure I did them.
Okay.
There you go.
And I did quick ones. I was just swamped with 40 different projects at once.
Mm-hmm. If you post, if
Christine
you
has
post
been
the-
here. She's been very tolerant of me doing those 2-sentence AERs. Love her to death. She's been very
If you
tolerant
ever
of
do
that.
that at SFI, they'll go, "Who the fuck is in charge now?"
Yeah, they'd be like, "Who did this?"
But if you post the pictures that you take, Mark, in the messenger group for Florida CAG, I'll pull them down and make a new Klingon TikTok with all the
Do
different.
you have
stuff
Mark
going
on Facebook?
Yes, I
He
think.
should send it directly to you, not a CAG in Florida,
Well,
for TikTok.
like I said, I've been putting them in there to,
Mm-hmm.
but that's fine. That'll work too. I'm just saying. I'm just covering bases, is all.
Yeah.
Right.
And gentlemen, good night.
Good
luck.
night.
All right, let's close the
St. Allen
stream
said, "May your God go with you."
and have a great day and live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.
Sounds like